Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, for giving me this opportunity to speak on the practical evidence from the national research efforts in the area of agriculture, nutrition, and health. Before I start, I just want to have an idea of how many research scientists we have in here. Those who have done research. Exactly. It's important because you have to know whether you are preaching to the choir or you are a lonely voice. So it's very important that you have to have that impression. If you look at agriculture in general for Malawi, its importance cannot be overemphasized. Economists have tried to put numbers to that. Others, they say, all the workforce in Malawi is engaged in agriculture. Others, they talk about GDP contribution. Others talk about the entire workforce. But the one that really helps me to really appreciate the importance of agriculture is when some people say it's the backbone of the economy. To me, that sums up the whole contribution of agriculture. Because what it means is that it's not agriculture itself that is very important, but it's the activities that are coming out from the sector that are most important. I can give you an example. If you look at maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we had maybe only 3 banks in Malawi. We had National Bank, we had Commercial Bank, maybe we had the NBS Bank, and maybe Post Office. But how many banks do we have today? I've even lost count. I mean, there are so many service sectors that are developing from this sector. So that helps us to understand why the sector itself is important. Now let me come down to agricultural research itself. What is its role? The role of agricultural research is to make the sector responsive to the people. All the things that we do in agriculture are based on what happens in the sector. Can you imagine if we had no any research happening in the sector? What would it be like? It will not be any relevant. There won't be any relevance to what we're doing. But we get the relevance in what we do from the research that's happening. We would be maybe growing SR 52 of the 50s because there's nobody trying to look at other alternatives to do it. So research itself is very, very important. Anywhere you go, research is the key. If you go to banks, they have a research sector. If you go anywhere, they have a research sector because research itself is very, very important. Now, what have we done in the research sector to contribute to the question that we have in front of us? I will look at the policy itself. The policy that we have at the moment, I think, is guided by the MGDS. We had the one which was running from 2006 to 2011, which has just expired. But if those who read, they know that there are aspirations in terms of food security, their wishes in terms of nutrition, and their wishes in terms of health in this MGDS. But what is lacking very clearly is the issue of how do we integrate this so that we are all singing with one voice. And that became very apparent yesterday, and I wouldn't want to belabor the point. So if we look at policies now, we should be able to start thinking as to how we can strengthen the linkages that are there. If they are not there, well, how can we build them up? And that's what we need to do. Now let me go straight now to what research evidence is there that research is contributing to A, N, and H. First of all, if you look at production of crops, of livestock, research is playing a very important role. First of all, if you talk of breeding crops and livestock animals, that is done by research. Our elder yesterday, Mr. Steve Carr, I think he's not here this morning, but I think he reminded us of the importance of not leaving out maize anymore. Maize is the key to production in this country. For example, if we are able to produce more per unit area in maize, we should be able to free some of those resources to other activities. We should be able to free those resources to grow some other crops. We should be able to free those resources to grow some other nutritious crops. So what research is doing there is to produce crops that are supposed to produce more per unit area. That's one. Two, we're also producing crops that have got higher levels of, for example, if you go to a staple crop like maize, we have got a program in research whereby we are producing some maize which has got higher lysine and tryptophan content. Some of you have heard about QPM for a long time, and that's what research is able to do. If you go to crops like potato, for example, they are orange fresh potato for vitamin A enhancement. And it's very shortly you'll be hearing about cassava also. People are used to white cassava, but now you'll be hearing of orange fresh cassava to try to respond to those kinds of calls. And then, along with this, at research, we don't only do like pure research, we also do activities that support productivity. Some of you know that my background is in seed science, and we have got a lot of activity in seed services that are supporting productivity. Because what you do in seed quality control is to make sure that the seed that people are using is of good quality. The seed that is coming out for us to plant this QPM, the seed that is coming out for us to plant this hybrid maize, that is improving our productivity, should be that which can be credible, the ones which can give us a crop which can be successful. The other thing that also we are doing is to support productivity in terms of plant protection services. I know my elder, one of our elders here, Dr. Daudi, has played a big role in that. He has worked all his life to make sure that the things that we are planting and growing are well protected. We're also supporting, thank you. We're also looking at issues to do with crop storage and the conservation of plant genetic resources at research. The issue that is a challenge these days, I think, is diversification in diet. And we know that research has got a role to play in that, whereby if we do our activities in an integrated way, we should be able to find a way of influencing the behavior in terms of diets. All of you know that sometimes when you have people from the village, they come to your house, even if they eat potatoes, if they eat bananas, even rice, they'll still wait for simmer before they go home. So how do we make that change so that people can start appreciating others to be foods as well? And then there's something that I want to mention which was not mentioned yesterday. There's a lot of urban agriculture that's taking place. A lot of people here, they own chickens, others they have cattle. And I think that this production which is happening in the urban areas should take some due recognition. And research is also supporting this by providing the startup material for these people. Even others are doing mushroom production. Research is also supporting all this activity. So we have to make sure that somehow we should be able to acknowledge and support the urban agriculture, much as we know that our focus is on the smallholder farmer. Lastly, Mr. Chairman, but not least, I want to also continue to emphasize on the need to accelerate progress in improving health and nutrition by exploiting the synergies between agriculture, health and nutrition in developing programs implemented at community, district and national levels. And lastly, I want to give an analogy of a chain. We all know a chain has got a lot of connections, and the strength of a chain is as strong as its weakest link. So if we want to pull out weight, we have to make sure that we support each other, all of us. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Thank you.